said, oh, I'm on another level.
Now rocking with the Kurin T Show. This is Kurin, and I have the business mogul Kelsey Battle in here. Our lovely co-host Von Demetrius is on sabbatical today, so the men run the show today. So, Mr. Battle, how you doing today, big dog?
Blessed and highly favored. I hate to use it as a cliche, but that's the way I feel.
So we start the show off with a testimony, a praise break. Give me something going on in your world that is an all-out praise break right now.
Man, so all-out praise break is I have so many things going on, but I can truly say my team that I have assembled and put together has always got my back. Like I'm behind on some of my tasks, and my team constantly reminding me, and I thank God that I have a team that I can rely on. It's one thing to have a team, but it's one thing to have a team you can rely on because they keep you up to speed, and it's not a burden to them. They know what their job is. You know, they know who I am and how I function. I got a lot going on. So based on that, they're not bothered by, being a team player.
That is actually the sign of a good leader.
Absolutely.
So big shout out to Kelsey's
and
team.
Listen, and while you say that, I need to shout myself out because I just enrolled and get my master's in leadership.
Now, how old are you?
I'll be 55 in October.
So 36 years ago you couldn't read.
Shoot, I was 19.
36 years ago you could not read.
Right.
And now you're finishing your master's.
That's right.
I just want you to tell me how many carats is that Rolex on your arm?
You know what? I really don't know. I think it's about 3, but I'm trying to upgrade to the 5.
And here's why I point that Rolex out. The significance of that is that, Kelsey, how much fentanyl you sell?
Oh man,
none.
I'm just
how much
saying.
cocaine you sell?
Man, please. I hate cocaine.
Right. So you're telling me that you don't have, that you can show kids that they can wear the sparkly shoes, they can have the Bentley, that they can have the big boy cars and the jeweled out watches with the bezel on it, and they don't have to do street life.
The thing of it's like a character trait. I want to be like him, but be like yourself. Prime example. I'm in the mental health foster care. I was an at-risk youth, mom on drugs my whole entire life. When people say your whole entire life, when I knew what drugs was, I was in middle school, elementary, right? So I say my whole entire life that I can remember. But getting to my point, I was an at-risk youth, so I know what youth go through, and I can relate more closely to kids in the community who parents are on drugs or deal with some type of dysfunction in the home. So I took that. Me and my wife, she's been her parents been at-risk youth, but her parents been involved in substance abuse as well. We took that and ran with it, and that was the community. That was the community we worked with. Group homes, mental health. Shannon's a therapist. So working with the at-risk youth population, it came easy for us because we was the at-risk kids.
So in that situation, I saw you speaking in schools and stuff, and the reason why I point out your jury is because a lot of times the success of a black man is always tied to urban success in those negative lights.
Right.
And we rarely celebrate black men that did it the right way. And I'm not judging anybody that was in street life because a lot of times we judge people by their decisions based upon and not knowing what their choices were. And I am saying that where you took the different route, and I want parents to be able to tell their children, Kelsey did it the right way. Kelsey got it the hard way. Kelsey couldn't read. Kelsey went to the Army. Kelsey's retired. There are so many benefits of actually doing it the right way.
Your purpose. So when I identified what my purpose was, it made my job calling easy. So I knew my purpose, and I said, okay, this is my purpose. And my desire was to take advantage of my purpose. I didn't want to do what someone else was doing. That's what we try to do, mimic what someone else did, but it's you versus you. When you try to do what someone else did, you don't know what it took them to get there. They got a team. They got a whole army of people that's helping them versus their desire is to be successful in that environment. That's why you see a lot of car lots come and go. People think, oh, they see a lot of cars, I can sell that car, get it wholesale. But if you don't have so many other things that help you sell that car lot, sell those cars on that lot, you ain't gonna work.
Yeah. So, all right, we need to take a commercial break. And what I'm doing in here now, Miss Tammy, we don't need to go to break because I'm doing them all live today. So this is a big shout out to Punctual Hauling, on time, every time. Their number is 472-274-6007. Again, that number is 472-274-6007. That's Punctual Hauling. You know, they do everything from flatbed hauling, log hauling, equipment transport, local and long distance. That number again is 472-274-6007. So businesses, during this show today, because we're live, inbox me. I will look at my inbox and I will give you a shout out, give you an opportunity to grow your business. Oh, okay, Kelsey, get back to it.
Yeah, so getting back to the point of knowing your purpose, once you find out your purpose, it'll be easy to work in it. It'll be easy to work in your calling, and it'll be easy for you to manage to make it out of a business. Mm-hmm. That's why people say, let me say one thing. When people say, I want to be a school teacher, first thing people say, they don't make money.
Right.
But that's their calling. They want to work with kids. That's their purpose. So they're really not ingenuously worried about the income. That's why they do it so long, and they already know what they're going to make.
I think, but teaching is not one of those situations where you don't make any money. That's not accurate. You know, it's not the most financially beneficial job, but it is a decent living. In North Carolina, they're starting to do better with the wages, but it's not horrible. And there's places like teachers, social work, so forth. Middle class is middle class.
But you know one thing about being a teacher, and the reason I can say this because I work with a lot of teachers. Mm-hmm. I worked in the school system when I had my group homes, even then with foster kids, and I, you know, people I know are teachers. Per se, the money is what comes with the job. Being all the, you know, the therapists, you know, mm-hmm. the psychiatrists, mm-hmm. The mom, the dad. Outside of just being a teacher, they come to teach. They didn't come to put on the other hats. And then the financial part, when they have to buy other supplies and materials. That's what takes the joy out of being a teacher. And they run into this thing called compassion fatigue. That's when I'm putting more into what I love to do than what is given back. And you run into compassion fatigue. And what you love to do, you start to hate.
So what I would say as a teacher that was more, and I'm not disagreeing with you, in addition to that, and we're all over the place, but it's cool because this is a good subject. The hyper testing is the worst I've ever seen in school system. I remember going to school and we would get tested. We would test once or twice a year. This is a back-to-back. And here's what happens. We have put testing ahead of classroom instruction. We got to test. The state says we got to test. Well, at what point do we say the state is wrong? Or at what point do we find a implementation way to be able to test and not lose instruction? There are some spaces where I think from January to May we were testing so much that it was a stress level on instruction of the classroom. You know, we're looking for the final scores, but you're not putting it in on the process in education, and that is one of my biggest problems with it. And I'm not blaming. You can't blame the principals. You can't blame the board or the people at upper levels. We have to find a way to modify in that system because just testing kids is not the way to do it. You have to have that daily instruction, that daily order that puts them in a space that where, like when I was teaching my kids, I taught them in a manner where the tide raised all ships. So when I taught one, I may have one reading on the second grade level, I may have one reading on the ninth grade level. But what I did in there is that we all had to write the notes down, and then we went over everything orally. And so as soon as we come back from this break, when Ms. Tammy takes us to the break, I will go into that. But Kelsey, when I say I had a system to where the tide was rising all the ships, go ahead.
One last thing before we go to commercial. The reason why it's so much testing, because that's who get the money, the highest scores, the highest district. So they continue to put the money into funding where the higher scores are related. Right. That's why they're so focused on testing. And like anything, the better research get the better money, with the most money. So when it comes to testing, the better schools with the higher scores get the most money. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're testing so much.
Okay. We'll be right back after this.
God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Oh, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. God has smiled on me. Been smiling on me. He has set me free. Oh, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. He's been good, yeah, to me. He is the source of all my joy. He fills me with his love. Everything that I ever needed. See, the Lord sends it down from above. Oh, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Oh, God has been so good. He has been so good. He's been good to me. One day I was in my room and I wasn't feeling you. I said, Father, are you there? I'm feeling real scared. So I got down on my knees as I began to pray, hoping that the Lord heard what I had to say. I said, God, please. I started begging. I said, God, please. Pleading, and I got on my knees. God, please. Smile on me. So as I begin to cry, he said, I'd never leave your side. I've been right here all along, so you can dry your eyes. Keep seeking me like I knew you would, praising me like you know you could. That's when I realized that he's so good. My God is good. He's been good to me. He's been, God is so good. God is so good. He is so good. He is so good to me. God, oh, God, thank you for being so good. God is so good. Thank you, Father. He's been so good. He's been so good. God is so good. 'Cause he's been good to me.
You're now rocking with the Kurin Key Show, and we are back from the break. And so, one of the biggest things that me and Kelsey were talking about with the education system and with the rise of that was the space where Miss Tammy, can you see me?
I can see you, baby.
Okay, you can see me. I had to make sure Miss Tammy could see me. That's our engineer. That is my extra special engineer because I am a really interesting character, and I can see you now, Miss Tammy. Yeah.
It's a 30-second delay.
That's fine. That's fine that Miss Tammy keeps us right and makes sure everything is going over here at WIDU. Super grateful for her on these situations. So she's more like our guru, our Kanye, you know, the producer that makes it all happen. But when I was talking about the school system and when I taught, I made everybody take notes. So we had a pre-assessment and a post-assessment test that you had to take. So I did a pre-assessment, and that's when the kids don't know anything. We just want to see what the general information is. So then after the pre-assessment, what I would do is I taught the vocabulary words, then I taught the people, and then I taught the timeline. So if I was talking about World War II, then I would teach the vocabulary words of World War II. Like what me and you know is a bank run. We go to the bank. During the Great Depression, a bank run is when people took their money out of the bank.
Correct.
So those are things that I taught my children so they know what a bank. So once they wrote the vocabulary words down, and then, you know, Hitler, Germany, and all the things in there. So they got the vocabulary words, they got the people involved, and they got the timeline. So then now, as a class, now I got a kid over here that reads on the second grade level. But ain't nothing wrong with his ears. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with his ears. He knows rap songs. He knows R&B songs. He can repeat certain things he knows social cliches. So there is a vehicle to get this kid to learn. Watch this. But I got another kid over here. He's 7th grade. He reads on the 10th grade level. So he's ready. But his social skills not be there. Now, let me tell you something about church. What church taught me. Call and response knows. You've never seen the words to Jesus on the main line. You've never seen the words to God is a good God. You know, I'm a soldier in the army to love. You've never seen the words to that. You all know it.
It's repeated.
So what I did is that, class, when did the Great Depression hit? 1929. What is a bank run? When the people go to the bank and take their money out. Who was Adolf Hitler? Here, da 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 da. So now they're learning because the way I'm teaching, the tide is rising all the ships.
They call that a chant.
Right. So I got the call and response going on, and then I would go teach it. So now when I'm teaching them, like 1929, this happened, and I'm teaching them how black people saved Cadillac because black people couldn't put their monies in the bank. And so I'm going through all these different things and teaching them. And then once I taught it, I did a test, and I did a 20 breakdown test. This is how I tested, Kelsey. When I did the test, it was open note. So it was based upon, you took the notes, you orally said it in class, you heard it, you saw it, you read it, you wrote it, and then you heard it and you spoke it. So now we got this open note test and everybody got their notebooks out.
So let me ask you a question. So for the kids that couldn't read,
right,
like myself, did you read the question and they had to do multiple choice in the answer?
Because we already said it out loud, they were familiar with it.
But when they seen it on the paper, when they took the open book test, how did they know what?
Because if you heard 1929 or bank run and different things in classroom, you could do the context clues, and this is how I would help them. The kids that couldn't read that well had phenomenal memories, so they would have it done or halfway, and then when I took the test up, whoever got 100 on the test, somebody got a 50 on the test. Make sure, because if everybody don't get 100, everybody fails. Okay. And so now they're like, yo, we all got to get it right. No, you wrong. No, that's number 9 is this. Oh, okay, cool. So the kid that couldn't write may have known some answers, and I knew the answers that he knew. So I would specifically say, Kelsey, what's number 9? When did the Great Depression start? And you'd be like, 1929. I know how to give you confidence because I'm going to give you the easy layup.
Right.
If this is basketball and you a big man, you 6'11", I'm not asking you to take the ball out at the point. I'm going to put you in the post. Hit the ball, give you the easy layup because that gave him his confidence. So now when I'm asking, now he's like, nah, number 9 is this. And then you get their confidence going, and now they're moving, and then everybody in the class is moving around. And now you got the kid that can't read teaching. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not good at that, but he knows these 3 and the things that he's good at. And so then now the kid that can read, they're teaching each other and they're getting better at it. And so the kid that struggled by the end of the class. Now we did the post-assessment test. I had a post-assessment where I think some of they wanted 40 was acceptable, 50 was good, 60 was it. I had a post-assessment as high as 76 or 82%.
I'm gonna tell you something about reading. When I was in high school and middle school, throughout my years in school, right? Mm-hmm. If people asked me to read, I'd be like, I couldn't. I didn't hide it, so they automatically knew. So whether it was a joke, they couldn't joke on me. They knew Kelsey couldn't read, or whatever I couldn't do when it comes to reading. I said, I can't read that. I can't read, and it was like, really, and they left it alone. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh, you can't read. I tried to read, and they laughed. Even when we was in class, I'm not familiar if they did it like this when you was in school. We would be in school, and each person had to read a paragraph or a sentence or two, and the next person all the way down, up and down the chairs. Did y'all do that? Yeah. When they came to me, I'd just be like, your turn. I just turn and say, your turn. Or if it went, I'd be like, the girl in front of me, your turn. I didn't even attempt to try.
Well, Kelsey, one thing, that is a phenomenal testimony, because now you become the voice of those that didn't have a voice. Because and that's where it turns around at. And I think one thing I did wish the education system had was better pay to pull in more men.
But let me explain this to you, and I tell this. I tell this to anybody. Then when we talk about education, it's not the teacher's fault. It's not the system fault. It's the parents' fault. And people argue with me. My parents have never read a book to me. Never. Mm-hmm. I got 8 books on Amazon, and I showed you 2 of my 8 kids' books. One is number 2 on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Amazon worldwide. One is number 2, and one is number 9 on Amazon. You're talking about a person who's 19 years old, couldn't read, write, or spell. When my grandkids come over, ain't no tablets. It's none of that. And I tell my son, did you read to him? I get on my son more, like, put that tablet up. Like, I ask him, did you read to your son? Did you read to your daughter? Because that's where it starts. Even yesterday, my grandkids came over. He wanted to do the tablet. I'm like, no tablet. He looked at his mama, and she said, no tablet.
Now let's tap into that.
But she brought it. But my point is this. It has to start with you. If you sitting there and you developing these habits of reading, constantly reading, that's what they do. But if you allow them to watch TV, my kids never grew up with a TV in their room. Never. My kids got the TV in their room when they left my house. Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of that in parenting, tell us, how can the church community help with what you're doing with the foster community? Because you're doing a phenomenal job getting foster kids in there. And so there are some phenomenal aunties and grandmoms in the church community, uncles and granddads or whatever, men and women both, that have taken children in, raised them as their own, and did not get a dime for it, and they just did it because they were family. Tell us more about how the adoption process and how that could work with the Christian community, and how that can, because we talk about business and things of that nature, but how can tie the two together?
So, the church always talk about money, right? It's out there. The church talks about money, and they always talk about pay. They don't tell you how to go get. The Bible says teach a man to fish, right? Right. It don't say tell him. I don't say, Kurin, we're gonna go fishing. I seen you to Walmart and get a 10-pound rod, 3 weights, a 3-pound weight, 6-pound weight, 5-pound weight. Tell you, a toolbox, what type of bait to get.
Kelsey, I was able to fix my house watching you fix your houses on.
Oh yeah,
or behind my shop. So you taught me.
But see, you watched me. I didn't tell you. So when you say, you literally came down there and dumped the whole thing of concrete on your shoes.
Right. They're
trying to pour the sidewalk. But my point is this: we get into the habit of telling people what to do instead of teaching them what to do. So if you teach a person to read instead of telling them. So when it comes to the church, it's always talking about bringing money in the storehouse. You got to teach them how to go get the money.
Right. So, hold that right there. We'll be right back after this, but hold up, I got to give somebody a commercial. Raise Notary Service, and it's a mobile notary service. If you need something notarized, whether it's a vehicle title or whatever you got going on that you need notarized, Raise Notary Service. The number is 910-922-9636. Again, that number is 910-922-9636. Kelsey, keep that thought. We'll be right back after these messages.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break I just wish that I could fly like a bird, get away from this earth. Had to pray and pray, I felt I was cursed. Always tell myself it could have been worse. Never going back, I broke the reverse. It come from my soul, no need to rehearse. A lot of time I was in need of work. Talk to God like I needed the work. Jumped the line like I needed it first. But I was being selfish. You know this gonna affect a lot of people. I was being careless. Took a break and stepped away. I'm coming back when I get ready. I know this breaks people into pieces, but I ain't gonna let it.
Yo, Blaze, you crazy for this one. Hey, all the champions out there feel so good. Hey, I said it feels so good.
We will, we will. To no early grave, I'm cool with just pacing. I can drop at any given time, I'm holding my aces. I see disappointment all in their faces. The turtle still cross the finish line. We done break the bar so many times, it's only right they give me mine. Diamond by myself, together we really shine. Long as I keep putting my faith and trust in God, I know that everything will be fine. Built for it, real stand up, God ain't never breaking my kind. I believe I can do anything, ain't never changing my mind. Life's all about patience, take it one day at a time. Life's all about patience, take it one day at a time, you know?
You're back with the Kurin Key Show, and Kelsey was telling us earlier when we were off the air, he was talking about that I think we've forgotten how amazing of a resource that the inner workings of the church are. That where the outsourcing, and I understand there's some things that we have to outsource, but he was telling us about using the resources inside of the church. So as far as adoption is concerned and things of that nature, because there are stipends and stuff available to offset those costs and help people have a good living. Talk to us about that. And I'm not talking about, and let me be clear, we do not want you adopting kids for a paycheck. That's trash. You know, if you don't have a heart for children, if you just want a paycheck and you're going to stick kids in the back room and you're not going to make sure their hair cut, you're not going to make sure they got clean clothes, clean drawers, and they're washing every day, and that you're installing their lives, then this is not for you. When we speak about the financial aspects of adopting children, we're saying this comes along with the benefits that you're going to give so much to this kid is that the least that the system can do is give you some assistance. Talk about that, Kelsey.
So adoption is on the back end of being a foster parent. If you want to be a foster parent.
Well, foster parent, I said I used the wrong. I'm sorry, foster parent. I apologize. Go ahead.
So if you want to be a foster parent, or you want to be a respite parent, where you want to, bring kids into your home temporary, or you looking to be a foster parent long term, which sometimes does lead into adoption. Mm-hmm. When we talk about the church, there's so many entities that the church have avenues to be their own foster agency. Do
you know what the problem with the church is in that situation? They're so used to doing it without paperwork that they don't know how. Like a lot of times, you have these amazing people at church that rent. You have these amazing people at church that keep kids, and you get what I'm saying. Like, and if she just filled the paperwork out, just a little bit of paperwork, it ain't a whole lot. Go ahead.
So the thing about it is, like when Family Services of America goes into the churches, we don't even call it a partnership. We offered to come in and educate people. We're not telling them just to come to Family Service of America. We would like you to, but it's the education of you're a grandmother and your daughter has left you with her 3 kids, and not because she's on drugs or anything. She just feels like I'm too young to be a mom. It's life starts happening, and the grandmother has the 3 kids. She's on the fixed income, and the man in the house is retired. Military just retired, period.
Right.
Somebody dropped 3 kids off on you. Then service tells you, oh, you're $100 too much on food stamps. Become a foster parent. Become a respite parent. You're keeping the kids anyway.
Right.
So when it comes to the church, when the pastor or just the church in genuine know that they're overwhelmed members are there, we come in and say, hey, you can be a foster parent. You can do kinship where you can, I don't want to say get paid, but you can get a stipend for helping raise these kids instead of them going into the system and then they get lost through the system. You can just become kinship and become foster parents.
So in that space, give them the information how they can reach out to become foster parents. How do they reach out to your company to become a foster parent?
Well, you can go to our website, it's familiesofUSA.com, or you can look Family Services of America up on Google. We located in Fayetteville. We actually got an office in Charlotte. Shannon just opened an office in Charlotte. We're doing so many programs to help the community in Charlotte and reaching out to different agencies, partnering with different agencies. It's such a shortage of foster parents. North Carolina is one of the top-ranked states that lacks foster parents, where kids stay in the system, and they stay in the system until they're 18. And once they're 18, they just on their own with no social skills, no the living arrangements, they become homeless because we are lacking in having foster parents or even respite parents. So if anyone out there has an available bed, or they ever thought about being a foster parent, or if you have a relative that you're taking care of and you're looking to do kinship, reach out to Family Services of America. We can give you the avenue to becoming a foster parent.
So one of the big things, and I'll tell you pastors, listen, you're teaching a phenomenal word, you're showing up, you're faithful and consistent. There has to be, you have to assign somebody to the business aspects of your church because the community needs you. You know, and I am challenging you churches to jump in. Somebody needs to own the grocery store. Somebody needs to own a bank. Somebody needs to own a doctor's office. Could you imagine if there was a church that owned their own urgent care?
You know, the thing of it is, even in the church, and even us as individuals, everybody needs help at every level. I don't care how much money you got, what neighborhood you live in. Everybody needs help, but you can't help everybody. So the pastor can't run the foster care, but it's somebody in that church that he can direct to run the program or get the program brought to their agency where he can get his members to be foster parents, and that will bring income back into the church.
What I'm agreeing with you in this space that where I think, watch this, and Kelsey, tell me what you think about this. When it comes to things being profitable, they've been associated with, you know, money is the root of all evil. And so then when things are talked about being profitable in the church, people associate that with the money with being evil, not understanding that that's not what the scripture says. The love of money. The love of money is it, but also Ecclesiastes 10:19 said,
money answers.
Food is made for laughter. What is it? What is the scripture? Ecclesiastes 10:19. Somebody help me. Food is made for laughter, but money answers all things. Hold on, let me get that right now.
But the point is this: with talking about the money, it's how you use it.
Right.
It's the person. They say money changes people. It does. Money will change people, but how does the change affect the people around you? How does the money affect you?
Right. And hold on. This is my scripture. A feast is made for laughter and wine maketh merry, but money answers all things. I'm mad I fumbled that because this is one of my favorite scriptures because it speaks of how important provision is.
That's correct.
It speaks of how important provision is. And when it says, like, if your grandmother is dying of cancer, the money will not fix the cancer.
Right.
But we can make her going away.
But see, this is the thing too.
Peaceful.
People think that money gonna give you happiness. A lot of people with money kill themselves, get divorces. Money don't make you happy. It just gives you more options.
I would say that, but also but as it pertains to the church and helping people and growing, you can't help the poor if you're one of them. You need provision. I'm not saying
an empty cup can't pour into an empty cup. So when I'm teaching a lot of men, when I'm doing my mentorship, when I say if I gave you $300,000 right now throughout a number, if I gave you $500,000 right now, and I'll go around the room and I ask people, what would you do with it? They always come up with a business that doesn't bring money back into the business. So it's not the point that you can get the money, and you know this because you have a business. You can bring in money. The hardest part is keeping it. Keeping that rotation coming back.
Man, and now let me speak to the scriptural aspect of it. God has a way, and I can testify to this because for years I would touch it and it would go. I would touch it and it would go. So it wasn't until I rededicated my life to Christ to where I was touching less and doing more. So there's a part of your harvest that has to have God attached to it. Matter of fact, back up. There's a part of your sowing seeds that has to have God attached to it for you to be able to keep it.
So let me tell you how that works out. The more you give, the more God will give you to give away. But if you attain things and you keep it and hog it all to yourself, how can God give you more? Because you already got too much. He can't give you more. But the more you give away, the more he'll give you to give away.
Yeah, you got a lot of y'all got clothes in your closet that don't fit no more. A lot of you got shoes that you could be giving away. A lot of y'all got stuff in that. A lot of you men got tools you don't even use no more. You can give those away or be a blessing to somebody else. But you holding on to them, but not understanding that where the more you give away, the more doors open up for you. You know, this is the Kurin Key Show. We will be right back after these messages.
That was dope.
Sitting here count my blessings. Ain't no need for stressing in my life. My enemies, they might form weapons. Yeah, but I know I'm protected by the blood, protected by the love of God. Grace and mercy, all his favor keeps taking me higher, just like skyscrapers. And every time I turn around, you keep blessing me, blessing me. Yeah, yeah. Look at God, he's making a way. Look at God, every day. Yeah, look at God, I can't take no credit. He's the one who did it. Look at God. Oh, look at God. I am always reminded. Look at God, you are always behind. Look at God, I can't take no credit. He's the one who did it. Look at God. I'm not confused. I know what he's done. Check the reviews. Count every battle he's won. He don't got a double back. Got it right the first time. He blows my mind. He's done it again, yeah. Grace and mercy, all his favor, taking me higher, just like skyscrapers. And every time I turn around, you keep blessing me, yeah, yeah. Look at God, he's making a way. Look at God, every day, yeah. Look at God, I can't take no credit. He's the one who did it. Look at God. Oh, look at God. And I am always reminded. Look at God. You are always behind. Look at God. I can't take no credit. He's the one who did it. Look at God. My blessings are both sinking, net breaking, mind blowing, earth shaking. Blessings are both sinking, net breaking, mind blowing, earth shaking. Look at God, he's making a way. Look at God, every day. Yeah, look at God, I can't take no credit. He's the one who did it. You will do. Look at God, and I am always reminded. Look at Jesus, always behind. taking me higher, just like skyscrapers.
You know, back to the Kurin Key Show, and we wanted to get into being that Vaughn isn't here, we can kind of focus on the men today. And I wanted to tell the men to be encouraged. And I think there's a space where social media has told you got to have more money to date. Social media has told you that you're not enough if you don't do this, and you're not that being a trash man or being a school teacher or honest wages isn't enough. To where, oh, I saw this rapper buy his girlfriend a Lambo and that is it. Bro, listen, let me tell you something. Holiness is right, and ain't nothing wrong with being a man. There's consistent levels of being a man. If you get up every day, go to work 9 to 5, you are more than enough. And do not get caught up in those spaces where you're being judged or you're even attaching yourselves to unrealistic expectations. Everything that you see on social media, somebody had an opportunity to edit and move forward. Unless it's live, but a lot of that stuff is just not real. Married people have problems. Single people have problems. You know, people in entrepreneurship don't always want to go be the boss. I am not, always, I'm the boss, I'm in the building. I never go to work like that. When I put my key in that building, I'm just like, okay, I got stuff to do.
I got a friend, he's in Atlanta. He's, I'm not going to say his name, but he has a real prominent company in Atlanta. He works with a lot of celebrities. And when he come home, he hang out with me, he be like, man, you got a lot of money. I said, what you mean by that? He said, man, I know people on TV every day. You got more than them. I said, for real? He was like, those people live in Airbnbs or those houses are rented. They don't have what they, the persona, what they want people to believe.
Right.
And that's how you get caught up in trying to be like the next person or try to have what the next person has. Prime example, I'm mentoring a guy right now, a young man. He's not a young man. He's about in his 30s. He came to me and he wanted me to help him and mentor him with his business. It wasn't the business that was the problem. It was his attitude. It was the attitude toward his wife. He had been locked up. It was the attitude towards the community, towards society. And then he smoked weed and his pants is saggy and everything. I'm like, if you come to me and want to wash my cars, I wouldn't let you wash my cars. He's like, but I'm good at detailing and this and that. To make a long story short, it's his presentation. It's the package he brought me. He can do a great job, but I don't see his roots. I don't see what he made of. That's the strongest part of the tree, and we can't see him. You can see a beautiful tree. Next year, you see the tree on the ground, and in a tree that look bad, the roots are stronger. So when I look at a person, I need to know your roots.
So I would say a lot of men out there, you got to tighten up. You got to tighten up. You got to look like where you're going. Like you got to look. I understand it's hard. I understand that some of y'all have, you don't know what your next step is, but you still got to take that step regardless.
So I used to work at a car wash on Pamela Drive across from McDonald's. I was in the military,
right?
And I was working 3 jobs: in the military, Little Caesars, and I was working at the car wash.
Okay.
Within 3 weeks, I was up front. You know why? Because when no cars was coming, I was sweeping the parking lot, picking up cigarette butts. I was walking around doing things. My pants wasn't sagging. I'm proud, military. I was very disciplined anyway. So they moved me to the front to detail the cars when they come through the tunnel. I wasn't vacuuming no more. And everybody's like, how you moving them up front? When there wasn't anything going on, I was inside sweeping, wiping the windows down. No one had to tell me what to do. So they moved me to the front. Now I'm on the clock and I'm getting tips. It was my presentation.
And your work ethic.
And my work ethic. So that's what they seem to move me to the front. But my point is, when you present yourself, your outer appearance is the first thing they see. And that's what people get their mindset is. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It doesn't matter who you're related to, where you come from. That's when they say, you look just like your daddy. And if your daddy, I would hate to say was sorry, you might not be a sorry kid, but they're going to relate it to you being just like your daddy.
So as we wrap this show up, I got to give a big shout out to my school, Fayetteville State University. Listen, I would encourage you, whether you are A graduate of Fayetteville State, friend of Fayetteville State. If you just love it, Fayetteville State, go to FSUBroncos.com. Join the Bronco Athletic Club. There are different levels, and there are different bonus packages to each different level. We got to support our schools, and we got to rock out there. And listen, Kelsey, I appreciate having you today. For all y'all that tuned in, Von Demetrius, we miss you. We love you. We will see you again. But listen, all you business owners, post your business every day. Be encouraged. Pray, drink water, walk. I'm gone. It's the Kurin Key Show.